Um, I try to put it down now that if you follow in Jesus, and Jesus was pretty much the teacher, okay? And our goal is to become Christ. And becoming Christ is like the diploma. That's pretty much like a diploma. So again, our goal is to become Christ. And when they said if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat, in Second Thessalonians 2, no, Second Thessalonians 3, I think it's 3:10. If a man don't eat, he shouldn't eat. Okay? And if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know what that word means if he don't work. Work don't mean go to work. Work means to become. That's what that means. That means to become. So, and they was talking about how some of the people that was walking with the other followers of Paul now, and some they wasn't working. They wasn't working, but yet they was busybody. So if they not working, they busybody doing what? We know not sinning, drinking, and none of that because they following the other followers. So if they not working, then what? And but they not working, but yet they busybody. So what they busy doing? Okay, so that's two different things. So work means to become, and when you becoming, and that kind of work means to become. So when he said if a man don't work, if a man don't become, take work out and say if a man don't become, he shouldn't eat. Okay. If you don't become what? If you don't become Christ, you shouldn't eat. You know, not if you should go out there and work, because he's saying they not working, but yet they busybody. Now the busybody that they doing is actually going out there working a job. That's probably what they probably doing, or busy doing. Like you remember when Jesus came into the house, what the sisters, one was busy working and the other one sitting at his feet, and everybody thought she should have been sitting at Jesus' feet. And that's what it was. She was sitting at Jesus' feet listening to what her next move should be. And see, Jesus is the teacher. He's teaching you what to do. The church not teaching you this. See, they tell this story and they make like the lady that was busybody was wrong. And she was, in a sense, if you're trying to go to meditate. Because instead of sitting at Jesus' feet, meditating with Jesus, listening to him or whatever, she was busy fixing the table, preparing the meal or whatever. And that's what that Second Thessalonians 3:11 was talking about when they said that they wasn't working, but they was busybody. And that's what it said. If the man don't work, he don't eat. But it don't mean go work a job, okay? It don't mean go work a job. So, again, Christ is not Jesus' last name. It's not his last name. So we are to become. We should be working at becoming Christ. And when we work at becoming Christ, that means Christ's going to be born again within us. See, Jesus had Christ born in him because when he disappeared for 12 years, from 12 years old to when he turned 30, Jesus was actually in school. He was going, even in the Bible said he called his son from Egypt. Now the boy they said he was a Nazareth. Then he was in Bethlehem, and he's in Egypt. He called him out of Egypt. He called him from studying. Probably over here, if it was real story, he would be over here somewhere, close to California, Mexico, doing that area. But he was somewhere studying. He was studying Buddha. He was studying Hindu. He was studying everything. Chai, to heal the body. He was studying these things. And so what Jesus had to do is allow Christ to be born in him. So they two separate entities. Jesus would be one thing if the story was real. So the story never happened, but it don't mean that the story can't happen. Okay? The story is supposed to happen within us. The story is supposed to happen with us. Okay? So when they talk about the shepherd, when they talk about the shepherd is us. We are the shepherd, and we watch it over our thoughts, which are the sheep. So we are our own shepherd watching over our own thoughts. So we watching over our own thoughts, so we got to cast down those imaginations and stuff like that. We have to cast the things down. We got to cast the thoughts down in order for the new thoughts on the right side of the hemisphere to come alive. I know I'm not saying this right, but I'm trying to make it plain and simple. But again, the story didn't happen. Jesus is the teacher, and the Christ is a title, and that's what we're trying to become. We're trying to become the Christ. We're trying to be Christ conscious. We're trying to allow the Christ conscious to be born again within us. The Christ conscious is born in everybody. So that's the Christ that's going to return. The Christ going to return. He has to return within you, within us, because we all have fallen, okay? We all have fallen. So I guess you could say we are the fallen angels, or our fallen angels would be our relatives, but we weren't the ones really falling. But we fallen within ourselves because we're not following Jesus, which is, he was left here. The story was left to tell us, because it could be Jesus and all other different names, okay? And when I talk about Jesus being the devil, his name means Zeus. Jesus would be, or the devil would be the lower part of us, part of our root chakra. The higher part, our higher conscious, to be the Christ conscious. And that's what we all trying to get to, the Christ conscious. Okay? If that makes sense. So again, we are the shepherds, and we watching over the sheep, which is our thoughts, okay? The wise man from the east side is coming from the east, the right side of our brain, which is the holy side. This is the 90% we don't use, because we're using the 10%, which is the carnal mind. And that's why we should be paying the 10% tithe. God asked for 10%. He asked for the 10% of the carnal mind, so we become holy. Become, you know what I mean? So we can live on the 90. So if we give him the 10, we already got 90 over here. And if we give him the 10% tithe that he offered, asking for, it ain't had nothing to do about no barter, no tithes and offerings. That's the tithe he looking for, the carnal part. This is all we using, 10% of our brains. And that's the lower animalistic part of our brain. And that part right there, our thoughts will be the sheep's. And even when you remember we just couldn't go to sleep, they tell you count sheep. And everybody thought that when they put that in the commercials or the cartoon, we thought that was just for entertainment purpose only. But no, they were trying to tell you something. Count the sheep. What are the sheep? The sheep are our thoughts. We got to be control over those negative thoughts. So that comes up in our mind from the 10%, the carnal mind. Okay. So then the stable pretty much would be our human body, okay? It's a part of our body, which is the lower part of our body. The animal part of our body would be the physical stable. The virgin, she was gonna be the pure conscious. She's gonna be the pure conscious, and she the pure conscious, which is it comes from the human, the positive side of the thought. But when I talk about the virgin, it's also going to be Virgo. So that's another thing, all about the constellation. Everything is about the inner being, but it's also about the constellation, because we are part of the universe. The universe, okay? We are part of the universe, and when you look at the zodiac sign is it's a part of all of us. See, I'm born in Pisces. Okay, well, I'm not going to even get into that. Because even though I was born in Pisces and at a certain time at 9:07 p.m., so I can go in there and tell you what zodiac sign was out during that time, because I looked it up. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to confuse anybody. But the thing is, we have to go through that whole cycle of each zodiac sign. So it's not good just to say you a Pisces, because even though you was born in Pisces, that means you have a mission from that constellation. Okay, you came from that constellation of the Pisces, which is where I come from, the constellation of Pisces, Sirius X. So, but it's deeper than that. So I'm not gonna even get into that because y'all ain't gonna understand. But the thing is to become Christ. To become Christ. Now, Christmas could be the reality that happened within all of us. Now, that's the thing. Christmas should be happening in all of us, and that's a gift that everybody should give themselves, at least this Christmas, now that everybody getting so much knowledge and waking up That's the gift we should give ourselves this year. Instead of, man, this is going to make me cry. Instead of going out there and buying so many gifts, going out there and buying gifts, and it's good, come together, socializing, you're giving each other gifts and this and that. But if you don't give yourself the gift of becoming the Christ conscious, the higher conscious, the good, pure part of yourself, okay? Because I'm telling you, a lot of stuff is changing, a lot of stuff is happening. And if we don't rise up to our higher conscious, to that higher conscious within ourselves, okay? Man, I just don't know how to say it. So many people just out here selfish. So many people's out here selfish. They just, it's some evil. Y'all are some evil. I'm just saying, y'all some evil. A lot of evil motherfuckers out there. I'm just telling you like that. Okay, it's a lot of evil people out there. Ain't nothing happening right now. Just like I'm just getting so emotional because I done been around people that I love, and just to see the selfishness, how selfish they are. It's just sad, but yet I still love them, and it's just money hungry, grimy people, you know. And even when I get money and try to give it to people, or be a blessing to people, you know, I saw it, and to where the point was, I hated having the money because the money was just so stressful, because everybody was just give me, you know what I mean, and it's sad to see people like that. Yeah, you want to give gifts, you know, that's not mandated or required. And when you give that gift, it's not even to feel good. It's just the fact that you don't want to see nobody struggle, or, you know, and that's because where I'm at in my life, always been in my life, and I've never been a money hungry or none of that. I've never been like that. You know, my thing was always, you know, trying to help other people, even from the time I can remember, you know, even with just helping my brothers and sisters and little things. My thing was always just to be the key to be the answer or whatever. And this shit made me emotional. But if some of y'all could just give yourself the gift of Christ, you know, to become Christ this season, I mean, you wouldn't be just doing yourself a favor. You would be doing the world a favor. You would do your family a favor, just to become something better than yourself, greater than yourself. Because a lot of y'all gonna be lost. A lot of y'all gonna be lost in the sauce, and that's the sad part. You know, that's the sad part. You working so hard to get stuff that's just gonna vanish and get taken away some way, somehow. You're gonna have some wear and tear, but you threw some good wet peoples away. You mistreated some good people that was in your life to protect you, or to guide you or help you, but you threw them away for $1, or you treated them like you didn't need them, because, you know, that you thought they didn't have nothing, but just not knowing that they present in your life, in your family life, was a blessing. You know what I mean? Because you so programmed on what society say. You gotta have a bag, you got to have the best name brand, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. And I'm watching people, that's all they think about it. And you can give somebody, and I like to give my gifts throughout the year. I don't wait till Christmas time to give out gifts. If I do, it's just some other little knickknacks to kids. But I don't have to wait till Christmas to give a gift, because Christmas is always going to live in me. Christ's going to always live in me, always have. So I don't have a problem giving out gifts throughout the year. I don't have to wait till a season or a year come around. Even though this season, it's a lot of electricity people gravitate to, and that's the only time they can gravitate on really giving somebody something, when a Christmas even. And if you don't make their list, then you're probably not going to get nothing. And I don't never make nobody list as much as I give them over. I don't never make their list, but I don't trip, because God put people in my life that bless me, and I don't do stuff for gifts. And then you can never give me anything I really need. You know what I mean? Like, you just couldn't give me something that I would really need. But again, I'm grateful for any and every gift I get when I get them, you know. But I don't never look for nothing back. But if I ever come to you and you need something and you don't, you know what I mean? If you don't help and I know you can, then I don't get mad because I already know you pulling code on your own head, you know. And I was in a situation where I had to go back and ask people that I knew I was a blessing to. God allowed me to be a blessing to, and I'm not the person that kind of asks people for something because I already know the Most High always provide for me. So, and I just sit around and wait for my provision to come. So if he don't give me an opportunity to make it happen, which I'm already making it happen, trying to make it happen, I don't have to chase it and make it happen. He always just give me the solution on what to do next. And if I do that next, he gonna provide. Whether it's, I don't care, it's through a lawsuit or through somebody else, through a job or through something. And when that resource dries up, I know I have to learn the next lesson. I'm finna go on a different level. But the thing is, my thing is, if a lot of you guys could give yourself a gift for this for this Christmas, the gift of becoming Christ truly, not as the nativity story told you, or we've been told by the nativity story. I mean, just go within yourself and just get some of that bitterness, that selfishness, self-centeredness. I mean, just that money hungry, you know, if you could just, I don't know, get some of that, you know what I mean? Just change some of them behaviors. Change some of them behaviors, okay? You know, because I know everybody is about you and your kids, of course, but you have to look at it. It's not just about us and our family. It's about us and the whole universe, one another, you know. You can't just be, you know, I'm just going to focus on my family, because now when your family in need, then who you going to go to? Who you going to run to? You can send all the prayers you want, but them prayers not going to be answered. And they can be, and somebody might have pity on and extend their hand out to you, temporary or whatever, but I'm just saying, when it get down to the nitty gritty, when you find yourself in a predicament, you can't get out. You can't beg your way out. You can't buy your way out. You know what I mean? Can't nobody help you out but yourself. And the only way you can do that is allow Christ to be born within you. And that's to become Christ. Not Jesus Christ, to become Christ. Again, Jesus is different from Christ. They're two different entities, okay? And I didn't get off the whole topic. I didn't get off the whole topic. I didn't get, and I wasn't even, and I guess that's probably what's supposed to be said, because that wasn't supposed to be said. It wasn't. It was, but I had it. I don't even know if the becoming part, you know, that becoming part, when I'm talking about work, separating the work, we know what Christ mean. We know Christ mean the anointed one. When the Bible said, touch not my anointed, you're not it. If you haven't became Christ, you're not the anointed one. You're not the anointed one. I know the church teach that, but they lied to you, baby. They lied to you. You're not anointed. You ain't got no anointing. You got some oil on you. You look greasy. Probably can fry you, you know, put you in a pan and fry you up, but you ain't got no anointing on it if you haven't went within yourself, practice the single eye, take no thoughts, go within yourself and allow the Christmas to be born within you. The Christmas. And the Christmas ain't got nothing to do, the way they spell it is Christmas. It's KRISHA, the Christmas. Yeah, it's the Christmas. Let me write it down. The Christmas. The Christmas. Yeah, KRISH. And that KRISHNA. And the KRISHNA is called a CHRISTO, okay? So Christ, okay, the Saint Christ word of Christ is KRISHNA. And KRISHNA is called Christ, the CHRISTO. So Christ is not It's not his last name. Okay. It's a title. It's a title that means anointed. Anointed. Now we all know what it says. Touch not my anointed. Touch not my anointed, okay? And are you that anointed one? Are you that anointed one? That's something you got to ask yourself. I can say you're not, but don't listen to me because only you know what you're doing. But again, when you ask me about Christ, the story is not real, okay? It's a mythology. And that means the story didn't happen, but it don't mean that it can't happen. Okay? It mean that it can't. It means that it didn't happen, but it don't mean that it can't happen, present tense, within you. Okay? But you have to work and show yourself approved. You have to study and show yourself approved. But he said if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. The word work don't mean go get a job and go work it. Because how that's going to help you? How that's going to help you become in Christ? Or how that's going to help you to follow Jesus if that's what you're doing? The thing is not to become Jesus or like Jesus, because Jesus was not to follow Jesus, because Jesus was a teacher. If you want to be a teacher and teach people how, not teach people or guide people how to become Christ, that's something different. But you don't want to be Jesus. You don't want to be just, you know what I mean? You don't want to be a follower of Jesus. You following him, you following his instruction. Because if you, this I'm just going to say, if you're a Christian, you'll never be able to be a Christ. I'm going to just put it like that. I'm just going to tell you, you can never be a Christ. I knew Christ and Christian have Christ in it, make you think you Christ-like or Jesus-like or whatever, but you're not. Okay, you're just not. And I've been trying to do it in pieces so I can, you know what I mean, trying to ease it, because I know how devastating this information could be when people deliver it, because I know how devastating it was some time back when I found out. And a lot of people used to say the Bible was a slave Bible, and I was like, okay, no, and I would still preach the way the church would preach it or say it, you know. And the reason why I did that, because there was no need to get in debate with them, because they didn't have no more information than I was looking for. I know some information, but I didn't have all the information at the time, so I would never come out with it. So I didn't challenge people about the Bible a lot, and all they can do is tell me what somebody else said. They couldn't tell me for themselves, because they didn't heard a few a conversation where people talk about the Bible being a slave, da 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 da. Yeah, okay, you could put us at that, but everybody that go to church is a slave. Okay, if you go to church, there's no way you could be Christ. You can't be a Christ. Okay, you can't be Christ. You can't be born again. That Christ can't be born again in you, and the reason why is because you done barred yourself. You cut yourself off from becoming a Christ, because now you following the rules and the regulation of religion. And that's what church is. Christianity is a religion. It's a cult. I don't care if it's a Muslim, any of that. The only one I wouldn't really say is the Buddha and Hindu, because they teach you how to meditate. You know, the ones that teach you how to meditate, even the monks. You know, so everybody got a little something. You know, but the church is not teaching you how to do any of this, how to become Christ at all, because they want you to be dependent on them. So the church, again, if you're a Christian, there's no way in hell you're going to ever become a Christ. And that's just the bottom line. That's just the truth of the matter. And if you look at Jesus tells his disciple, he said, if you follow me or keep my commandments or something, the truth will, you say you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now, that's if you follow Jesus. Jesus' instruction. Like I tell you, the story not real, but the information they got laid out in the book. I told you, got to tell you the truth. The information they laid out for Jesus, and they using Jesus' names, but the information they laid out in that Bible. He is teaching you how to become the Christ. The only thing is the church took it and they blinding you to what it really means, because no one is really going to read the book on their own. You just listen to sermon after sermon. You're going and singing hymns. You're going in there to praise and worship. You cook all the food you want. You know what I mean? You can have all the fellowship you want. And you're going to knock on all the doors, do all the soul winning in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, okay? You do it all in the name of Jesus and say you're a Christian, and I guarantee you will never, ever, ever be a Christ. And that's what the book said. The book tell you that. Jesus tell you that. He said, if you follow my commandment. He didn't say follow the church commandment, the pastor commandment, the government commandment, and none of that. And another thing, as far as being a military. And I used to preach about that. Then I said, okay, I'm not going to say nothing about that, because they said God got to be everywhere. You got to be on the military. You got to fight the battles and this. Jesus don't teach none of that. The church teaches that. So that's all about patriot and all that. And everybody, I know a lot of family members join the Army, Navy, Air Force, and all that, the Marines and everything. But the thing is, if you a killer, if you're a killer of any kind, you're not becoming Christ. Yeah, you can repent of it or whatever, do your affirmation to get rid of that, because I got blood on my hand, I got a lot of blood on my hand. I done killed a lot of insects, a lot of roaches, and I done killed, that's all I done killed. I ain't killed nobody flesh and blood, nothing like that, but I'm a killer. I'm a killer too. My name fit my character. Chucky fit my character 100%. I'm a killer. Yeah, right. I done killed a bunch of roaches, a bunch of insects, ants, and bugs. That's all I killed. That's the only blood I got on my hand. But yet, those are little creatures, little beings. And I have to say affirmation for that, because they had little spirits of soul. I don't know if them ants came, another soul that somebody killed or that took their self out or whatever, came back as an ant or came back as an ant. I don't know that. But yet I had their blood on my hand. So if you follow in Christ, you can't kill anything. I don't care what it is. Yeah, you see a bird, an ant, a fly. You can't kill it intentionally. The intent behind it. You can't kill it. I done cut a lot of spider legs off of centipede and all that. I used to be out in outside. I used to like catching lightning bugs and centipedes and, little animals, frogs and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, learn as you go, okay? And you can't have that kind of blood on your hand and just intentionally out here killing people, insects, animals, or whatever it is. You can't have that kind of blood on your hand. If you do, it's a way to get that blood off your hand. Okay, and that's between you and the Most High. And again, you don't need no preacher, no what you call that? No pope or none of that. You go within yourself in your closet and you pray and you meditate. They gonna tell you how to, your higher self gonna tell you how to get rid of that. I don't care what you're going through in life, whatever you're going through, sickness, illness, lack of job or whatever, finance or whatever, go within yourself and it's gonna give you the answer. You don't have to go chasing nothing. You don't have to go chasing the healing. You don't have to go chasing no money. It's gonna come to you. Now, everybody gonna have to go through their little downfalls, they dry pit, but you gotta go through that to experience and learn for the next level, okay? You got to go to the next level. And they always tell us 10%, then we get to the 11, and so we go to different levels, but it's really 9. The highest conscious is going to be the 9, the highest conscious. You can go higher than that, but shit, then you somewhere else, So it's all about going into the beta, the alpha, the theta, and the delta. So them different sleeps you go through or translusions you go through when you elevate. I don't know where this just went. I don't know where I was supposed to be. The season of Christmas, wasn't it? Say 'tis the season of the Christmas. That's what it's supposed to be like. But that was something I just wanted to touch on. I'm bringing a new message tomorrow, but it was still gonna be on Jesus or the Holy Spirit, or cause you could say so much about it. Cause I did say something about the Spirit. That's another name we gave it. But again, yeah, you continue to call it a spirit if you don't know the angle or the electricity or the protons. So I'm not gonna get into all that because I don't want to confuse nobody. So I'm just gonna keep calling the Holy Spirit because, or the Spirit, however you want to call it. So because I don't want to confuse nobody because I'm trying to keep it simple. Once you evolve and elevate, you'll see the depth of it. But I did just want to put that out about Christianity and being the Christmas season, and being the Christ, giving yourself the gift for Christ, truly giving yourself the gift for Christ for this Christmas. Because again, it ain't got nothing to do with Christianity, ain't got nothing to do with your pastors going to church, hearing no sermon, or none of that. You can hear all them sermons all you want, and you still gonna go through what you going through. Yeah, with time, you probably gonna overcome it with your job. Go work yourself to death on your job, and yeah, you gonna overcome because now you got a little more money to pay them bills, and the more bills you get, the more advanced you get in your living expenses. I don't see, the more advanced you get, like you get a little more money. Now you want to go buy another car. Even your car paid off. Now you want to go upgrade. You keep upgrading. For what? The car gets you there. That's one thing I never liked, to go in buy, spending a lot of money on car. I go $500. I think the most I spent was $3,500 on a car, other than my semi truck. But I just never seen that. Yeah, I would like a nice luxury car and this, but where I'm going? I'm going to work. I'm going to go to work, let it sit outside in the parking lot. Then I'm going to drive it back home. I got to pay insurance, and then I got to pay for the tax. I never drove a car. When I registered a car, that's all it was, getting registration. That's it. I didn't pay for license. I didn't buy no insurance. I never did that. I just never did it. I did it with my semi-truck, yeah. But I always consider myself a professional driver. I felt like, why would I need insurance? I'm not going to hit nobody. Now, I got hit in the car many a times, and I got paid every time. And I didn't have no insurance, but I didn't need none. I didn't hit nobody. They hit me, so they had to pay out. So it's just like, I just could never see myself, even when I working, just giving my money over to a lot of people. I just never felt comfortable. I done went all this sweat equity, and I got to turn it over to you. I got a light bill now, and light bill and phone bill. That's my only bill. And hey, I'm like, man, I got to figure this out before next year. I got to figure out, because I don't want to pay no bills. I will pay somebody else's bill, rent and stuff like that. I'll help them before I will pay my own bill, because I didn't never see the need of paying the bill. So when they said Jesus didn't have no place to lay his head, I don't think he wouldn't have a place to lay his head. I don't think he couldn't have. He didn't want to pay them bill, because then he had to render unto Caesar what belonged to Caesar. Yeah, the rent and all that, that's Caesar. I'm trying to get up out from under this government. That's my thing. My goal is to get out from under this government so I can live as my sovereign, true self, under the common law. Right now, I'm considered a ward or a minor of the state, of the United States, okay? And I don't want to be a ward or citizen or none of those things to the state. So that's why I've been working hard on. So one minute my mind is in legal stuff. The next minute my mind is on medical stuff, trying to, keep people, give them information or have enough information to help people that have illness or whatever, life-threatening illness. Because again, my life I was on my deathbed before too. So, and I know I always said it was Jesus or the Most High. I said God and Jesus, because at that time that's where I was at. And I still wasn't comfortable. I was like, no, something else had to happen. I wanted to know. I wanted to know why my mama died and she didn't get a healing. I wanted to know what happened. Now I understand what happened. You know what I mean? I understand that it was the devil. It was the doctors. When our peoples are sick, it's the doctors keeping our people sick. Chemotherapy. Do you know that's like acidosis? That's like the same gas Hitler supposed to did with the Jews. That's the same gas. That's the same gas when you're taking chemotherapy. A lot of people make it out of it. A lot of people don't. And but they always come back. Maybe they change. It's just something they made it out, and we can say it's the the grace of God and this and that, and it could be because they still need to stay here and tell a story, you know. But that's the truth of the matter. It's a true remedy to healing our body. It's a true remedy. And I know a lot of us gonna get together and we preparing them Christmas dinner and you getting all that meat and chilling. Yeah. Same way you just did Thanksgiving, same way you did all the other holidays. You study getting that crap, and it's gonna take y'all ass out. It's gonna take us out, okay? I ain't gonna say us, because I ain't eating it. You know, it might not look like it, but I ain't eating it. I promise you, I ain't eating that shit. If I try to eat, I would throw up. Even when I try to eat it a little off the piece and stuff, I gag on it, you know? And, yeah, and then we go to funerals and eat the same stuff that killed the loved one that we there to pay our respect for. You know, I don't care if you're young, old, skinny, fat, short, tall. You know, the food's taking a lot of people out. And it's not that it's taking us out because we just ignorant to a lot of things. And some people not ignorant to it. Some people just don't want to know. You know what I mean? They say you only live once. You only live once, okay? Yeah, this is the only body you get. So we might as well take care of it. And one of the things is not just by what we eat, by what we put in our minds, what we, you know what I mean? Who we dealing with, you know, because you can hook up with somebody that got so much karma coming to them to where it's going to hit your ass. It's going to hit you because you done hooked up with this fool. I don't care if it's a man, woman, or ape. If you done hooked up with them and they got karma coming, and you know it, you gonna get it. You gonna get it. You know, so you could tell some people been in situations that could be they just was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or something. But you could tell people by their heart they just got an evil heart. You know, a malicious, malice. I mean, they just grimy. Really, they just grimy. So again, you gotta be mindful of the people you're around. You gotta be mindful of the music you listen to. You gotta be mindful of what you put in your mouth. You gotta be mindful of what you know what I mean? Who you having sex with. Because you can have sex with somebody and you can be bed hopping, you know. And I done did it too. In my youngest day, I done did it, you know. I done did it when I was dealing with males and females. I mean, I had multiple men friends when I was younger. Then when I gave the lifestyle up, I think I was 20-something. And, yeah, I had multiple women's friends at one time. But, you know, you learn. You know what I mean? You learn. So, again, and people wonder why I went celibate a lot, absence from sex. And they call it semen retention for men or whatever, but it wasn't just for you know, for religion. It wasn't just for that, you know, because I knew in my mind that I would never be with a man again. I just couldn't see it, you know, but it was just because I wanted to ascend on something higher, and they asked me to, you know. My higher conscious asked me to, and I went through a thing with it. Somebody asked me about that too. I went through a thing with it the first year. This 2007. I remember the first 2 years. It was hard. Like I told you, I don't do the masturbation toys and none of that. But I remember being on the floor, getting out the shower just naked, and it just felt like somebody was taking a hammer, beat me between my legs. You know what I mean? Because by me being molested at the age of 8. And it's gonna make me cry. But at the age of 8, so I had got had them familiar spirits on me about sex. You know what I mean? Because I never had I guess you said I never had the authority or the right to choose who I was gonna give myself to first because it was taken from me. Okay. And that was mainly done while I was asleep. And during that time when it happened, I used to think I got molested by the boogeyman because it always happened at night. Even right now today, I'm scared to sleep at night without a nightlight. And I'm 55 years old, going on 56. And that's because I got hurt in the dark. Okay, not that I'm too much scared in the dark, it's because I got hurt in the dark, you know. And so I keep that night light on so I can see the shadows, you know, what's beyond the darkness. I want to see the shadows, see something moving. You know, for a long time I thought it was the boogeyman. I mean, something else, the boogeyman. So I didn't know no better until when I did realize it, And when I got raped when I was 13, and I would have had a child, that child would be 40 something. I wasn't even 13 yet, because I was still in grade school. I remember a family friend asked me to help him with some girls that was being disrespectful to him. And I didn't know no better. I wasn't thinking, because I told you every time it happened to me, I was asleep. But this time it happened, and I was wide awoke, and I got pregnant by the incident, and I didn't know nothing about being pregnant. All I remember, my parents taking me to a doctor, and they did something, put me on the table, had my legs open, and did something. And then next thing I know, my parents put me in the back seat, told me to lay down. I got home, they gave me some chicken noodle soup. And I didn't think about it until after my mama died. And I'm like, why the fuck they give me chicken noodle soup? When I realized, because now I know what abortion was. And that's what it was abortion. And because I always wondered what happened, because I remember the doctor saying she pregnant. I remember that. But I didn't know nothing. And I'm telling you, I'm almost 13. But I never knew about pregnancy, where baby come from. I didn't know that at that time. I didn't know nothing about that. I'm telling you, I was being molested in the dark. Okay, and so when they said that, that's what happened. And man, how I even get on this? But I don't even know how I got on this story. But it just trickled down there, huh? But anyway, yeah, I was talking about the familiar spirits that get on you, even when now that you're grown, And when you get a little older, and after that happened, that was a turning point for me, because you become promiscuous when you're younger because you don't know any better. And so it took me when I got older, and I changed my sexual preference to women's, and I don't even know how I got there, because I didn't even like doing the oral sex with men, so I didn't even know. Because one of my sailors tried to help me to do that, and I never liked that. I never would do that. And I can count on 5 hands how many times I did it to a man on one hand, because I just didn't ever like that part. But anyway, I ain't trying to give y'all no detail, gross y'all out or anything, but I'm just telling you the facts. But I don't even know how I got caught up with women, but I do know, you go spend the night with friends of one family, whatever, and fighting over who gonna sleep in the bed with you and grinding on you when you. I never did that when I was a kid, and I think my sister Dinah that wanted to pay. Actually, today her birthday. Happy birthday! Happy solar return, Sister Dinah. I already said it once to her today, but today is her solar return day, and I know she already been back here. I know she back already, and one of my little nieces, great nieces, anyway. But I remember. Damn, what I was just saying, I just remember, I can't even remember now what I would remember. But yeah, man, I don't even remember. Anyway, I guess I'm supposed to get off that topic. But yeah, yeah, I don't even remember. But, oh yeah, we talking about the familiar spirits again. Right now, these spirits are running rapid, okay? They're running rapid. And to be engaged with somebody right now, I understand that most people have multiple partners, okay? Most people have multiple partners, so that means you got multiple entities or multiple spirits on you, whoever that person was sleeping with, okay? So they just gonna follow you, and you gravitate to them. And so that's why, another reason why I gave up, my sexual preference, gave up sex, period. And that was to elevate, to evolve. So I didn't know it was going to last this long. I just didn't know it was going to last that long. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you don't. You be so focused on some certain other things. And but yeah, that's one of the reasons, because I understand that, you could get most people attracted to because of the energy you got on. Most people ain't attracted because of the weight, but most people got attracted because of because that they see that energy on you, that retention on you, okay. And most people was attracted because of my name, Chucky. I mean, everybody thought I was a freaking You know what I mean? A celebrity or something just because of the name Chucky. Yeah, that's like a brand. That's why you got to be mindful what name you get attached to you as well. But anyway, I was talking about the spirits. Just be mindful, even when you get in a new relationship, just be mindful of who you hooking up with. Make sure you don't have to know all their history and their business or nothing, but just give yourself some time before you get intimate with somebody. Even if before I even, after 13 years, before I even went down, I guess it was 14, because even before I did what I did, I had to contemplate, because they had already told me what's going to happen behind it, and I didn't care. I just wanted to feel it again, feel what love felt like again. And I went on and, gave into it, but it took a while because I knew the repercussion of it. And I knew the repercussion because of, the other partner, I guess you say connection or whatever, who they was dealing with, So I knew the repercussion of it, but I didn't care, even though I knew it was prolonging a lot, it was going to prolong me in a spiritual thing, and I had it going to have repercussion behind it. But my thing is, just be mindful, okay? Just be mindful when you're hooking up or getting, familiar with a new person. Because I know somebody, when you ask about that, just be mindful about getting into a new relationship, and you ask a question about that. But just give yourself some time, ask the right questions. You ain't got to know all the details. I mean, if you decide to go there, make sure you go get checked out. He get checked out, she get checked out, or whatever it may be. But don't rush into it. I know back then especially when you're young, we like, man, you invincible. Ain't nothing gonna touch you. But yeah, something can touch you. Something can touch you and you probably want to be able to get rid of it. So just be mindful, okay? You know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, you might want to write it down so you won't be sidetracked by a pretty face or a big ass. So you might want to write that down so you won't get sidetracked. And keep your hormones in check. That's one of the main things. Don't lust. Don't fall into something. Don't try to fall into it too quickly. I know I saw somebody that said you can't fall into love. You fall into lust and all that other stuff, because love takes you elevate. Love is a higher conscious. So love, you will have to evolve and elevate, to fall in love. And I think that's true, because a lot of people can get with you because you got money. A lot of people looking for benefits. What kind of benefits you bring to the table, even though they might not be bringing none, but some tail, or something, or I don't know, depending on what you're looking for, So that's all about you. And some people, that's all they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to love, somebody to take care of, or just somebody they can trust. That's my thing, Just somebody I can be able to trust, That would be my main thing. And not just trust, not to run around on me, just to trust that you would be honest about whatever you choose to do. Because, again, that's your body. That's all I'm saying. Just give me the opportunity to say if this is something I want to be in or not. I think that's the best gift you can give yourself, your partner in a relationship or somebody you want to deal with. Get them, be transparent, open and transparent and straightforward with them. Even if it's people be with each other because they love you or they like you for this reason, but they still want to be with somebody else because it could be other reasons. So it could be multiple people, and that's your prerogative. But I think if you with somebody, I think you should at least give them the opportunity to decide if that's something they want to, stay a part of. Just, and some people will stay with you even though that's what you want, I know I done did it for people before. They wanted to do something, and yeah, go ahead. And they said, no, but I want you to be here waiting faithfully to say, okay, I'm going to be here. And they said, are you sure? And they thought I was lying and still probably think I didn't do it. But I did. I did it for several people. I did it for several people because I figured that's your body. Because I learned when I was younger. I was in a relationship that was so toxic, and that was because we both made it toxic. Mainly me, I was younger, the only relationship I was with a male, and yeah, and but I think I was doing wrong. I was doing a whole lot of mess, so I know I was. And then you try to flip it, try to flip it. But I learned, you know what I mean? Just to be honest and transparent with people. Just be honest and open, you know? And not after the fact, before the fact, you know? And so I learned that. So, and that's what I think, I mean, if, I'm not saying everybody gonna be acceptable to it, but just be honest with it, you know? And just, get that gift to your partner, whoever you're dealing with, and also to give yourself the gift of just being Christ, to be born again as Christ. Let Christ be born again within you, because that's what born again means. You need to be born again, but you don't need to be born again in the sense of where you think you're gonna be born again. You need Christ to be born within you, and the only way Christ can be born within you, you got to go within yourself, practice the single eye. Then you got to go within your closet, shut the door, and meditate. And you got to elevate to the higher conscious, because the kingdom of God is within you. Why would Jesus tell you that? You got to be a way you can get into that. If he told you that, then that means you can get in there and seek, you know what I mean? You can get in there and seek not just God, but to Christ conscience. So, again, if you're a Christian, you will never be able to become, the Christ will never be able to be born in you, because, again, you barred yourself, you cut yourself off from being the true Christ, allowing the true Christ to rise within you. So again, that's it. I know I had little notes. I'll never go over the notes or the scripture to after the mass. But this wasn't my message for the week. I know I missed Wednesday, but I had some information. You know, it wasn't devastated, but it was some family information, and I just had to digress on that. So that was it. But again, 'tis the season of Christmas. 'Tis the season of Christmas. It can always be Christmas. It can be Christmas every day. You know, if you allow Christ to rise within you, be born again within you. And with that, I'm gonna end it and just say Ashe.